Hi everybody, and thanks for tuning in to this week's yoga video. Today we're going to be doing a fun, creative power yoga flow on a mat. So when you're ready, go ahead and have a seat and let's get started. Come into a comfortable seated position and roll your shoulders back. Close your eyes and take a deep breath in through your nose. And exhale fully through your mouth, letting go of anything you're holding on to that you don't need right now. One more time, deep breath in through your nose. And then exhale fully through your mouth. With each breath becoming more fully in the moment, more fully present. One more deep breath in. Exhale fully through your mouth. Roll your shoulders back one more time. Keep your eyes closed and tilt your chin until you feel that it's parallel with the ground. Without actually smiling, bring the sensation of a smile to your face. And just take a couple deep breaths here as you soak in that sensation. Noticing that although you're not actually smiling, you're feeling that sensation of a smile, and it's bringing positivity and warmth to your face and to your practice. Bring both hands to your heart in prayer position and just take a second to acknowledge your commitment to the practice. And just set an intention to let whatever happens today happen. No expectations. And then on your next inhale, quietly open up your eyes. Interlace your fingers and press your palms up to the sky as you look up and get as tall as you can through your spine, through your arms. And then gently release. We'll send the right arm forward and left arm back, bringing just the fingertips down onto the ground. Look out over your left shoulder with your right eye, initiating your twist at the navel, and then slowly lift the arms up, look up. Interlace your fingers the way that feels weird and press your palms up to the sky. Get as long as you can through your torso, maybe even wiggle side to side just a little bit. Then send your left arm forward and right arm back. As the fingertips graze the mat, look out over your right shoulder with your left eye. And then inhale, come back to center, lift your arms up. Interlace your fingers, press your palms up to the sky and get as tall as you can. Exhale, bring the fingers out in front, arms are long. Your hips stay firmly on the ground. Then as you inhale, ripple up through your spine. Exhale, melt forward, spidering your fingers forward as you walk out. Doesn't matter how far down you can come. And then ever so slightly begin to sway side to side, pulling your armpits down towards the ground with each sway. You should feel a good stretch in the back of your hip, depending on which leg is slightly forward. And as you inhale, walk your hands back. You're just going to change legs. So whatever leg is not forward, set that forward and bring your forward leg in towards your pelvis. Inhale, get long. Exhale, walk your hands out in front of you. Stay mindful of having your hips on the ground. So don't let your hips lift up. If they are lifting up, push into your fingers so that your hips come all the way down to the ground. Once you walk out as far as you comfortably can, begin to sway side to side. This just helps to open up any kind of tightness you're feeling, letting that go. And as you inhale, come to stillness, and then walk your hands back behind you. From here, we're going to send the legs out in front, and bring your hands back behind you about 8 inches, and then bend your knees halfway, or bend your knees so your feet come halfway back, and then press into your feet, press into your hands, and lift your hips. Let your head go if that's okay for your neck. Breathe into the fronts of your shoulders here. And then exhale, gently release. On your next inhale, we're going to sit up tall, bring the arms out in front, and come into boat pose. Now you have a couple options here. So we're balancing on the sitting bones. If you need to remove the flesh from underneath the sitting bones, go ahead and do that. Arms are long and strong, but they're plugged into the body. So if somebody came around and tried to push your arms down, they wouldn't go anywhere. You have a couple options. You can stay here with your feet together and your legs bent, shins feel like they're parallel to the ground, or you can press out of the bottoms of the feet and straighten the legs, activating your quads. So lift your kneecaps up, spread your toes, and breathe. Lift your heart up. Try not to round your low back. And from here, we'll gently release. We're going to cross over the ankles and come up over onto the knees. Curl your toes. Wrists, elbows, and shoulders are in one long line. Fingers are spread. Press the bottoms of your toes into the ground. And as you inhale, lift your heart, lift your head, and lift your tailbone. As you exhale, round your upper back. Press the mat away from you. Inhale, come back to a neutral spine. And as you exhale, you're going to twist, sort of, so that your left shoulder is trying to touch your left hip. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, other side. Right shoulder is trying to touch the right hip. So if you're looking at yourself from above, your spine is making the shape of the letter C. One more time each side. Other side. Then come back to center. Press into your toes, lift your hips for downward facing dog. Now it's your first one of the day, so do whatever you need to do to feel good. Pedal out your feet. Shake your head out. And then come into stillness. So your options here for downward dog, if you're tight in your hips, your knees will probably be bent, and that's fine. Who cares? As long as you're pressing out of the bottoms of your heel and keeping this tension in the backs of your legs, as if you're really trying to get those heels down, then you're good. If you can bring your heels all the way down to the mat, then good for you. Press your hands into the mat so that you have really long armpits. And then let your head hang heavy, shake it out so you're sure that there isn't any tension in your neck. And your gaze should be towards your navel. Breathe fully and deeply. And with each inhale and each exhale, try to find a little bit of movement, a little bit of length into any place that you're feeling tension. On your next inhale, rise onto your toes and push the mat away, almost as if you have a little arch in your back. Then lift your right leg as high as you can, and then push the mat away even more. Spread your right toes. As you inhale, come forward, shoulders over wrists, shoulders over wrists, shoulders over wrists. Bend your right leg and bring your knee up into your armpit, and then slide it down to your wrist and pop it back up. Three-legged dog. Inhale, come forward, shoulders over wrists. Step your right foot to the front of the mat. Rise up onto your fingertips, long spine. Your right knee is directly above your right ankle or slightly behind. Inhale, lift your right arm, look up. Exhale, right fingertips come back down to the ground. Left hand comes to the ground. Press into the mat, round your back, lift your right foot and hold. Come into three-legged plank. And slowly lower all the way down onto the ground. Inhale, Sphinx pose, elbows underneath the shoulders. You're almost pulling yourself forward with your forearms as you look ahead. Try to get as long as you can in your back. Tilt your chin so you feel like it's parallel with the ground. Shoulders away from your ears. Exhale, gently release. Hands underneath the shoulders, curl your toes, push up. Downward facing dog. And we'll take a couple deep breaths here. Inhale, lift your left leg high, spread the toes. Push the mat away even more. And on your next inhale, shoulders over wrists. Shoulders over wrists, shoulders over wrists. Left knee into your left armpit. Spread the left toes. Slide the knee down to your wrist, then pop it back up. Three-legged dog. Inhale, come forward, shoulders over wrists, knee into forehead. Set the left foot down. Come onto your fingertips, long spine. Left knee directly above left ankle or slightly behind. Inhale, lift your left arm, look up. Exhale, left hand comes down to the ground. Right hand comes down to the ground. Press into the mat, round your upper back. Use your core strength to lift your knee in towards your forehead, hold. And then go into three-legged plank and lower all the way down. Sphinx pose. Get as long as you can. Breathe. Gently melt your chest down to the ground, hands underneath the shoulders. Curl your toes, lift your knees, press up with a flat back, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift up onto your toes, push the mat away for a little bit of an arch in your back, and then ripple up through your spine, coming into plank pose. As you inhale, shift your left hand to the center of your mat and roll onto the knife edge of your foot. Stack your feet. Lift your right arm. Breathe. On your next inhale, we're going to bend the knees and we're going to place the entire left foot on the mat. Then try to straighten your leg as much as you can and lift your right knee up, grabbing hold of the right big toe with your first two peace fingers. And then slowly begin to shift. So you're spinning on the back of you're spinning on your left foot, so the foot is trying to turn towards the front of your mat, and you're going to set your right foot down onto the ground. Inhale, rise up for high lunge. Exhale, hands to the heart. Inhale, send your torso forward, and then turn out to the right, hooking the left elbow to the outside of the right knee. Option to open the arms. Option to take a bind. Stay long and strong in your back leg. Inhale, open up the arms. Exhale, come back to center. On your next inhale, bring the fingers down to the ground. Then press into your front leg and lift your back leg for standing split. Inhale, step back for low lunge. Set the left knee onto the ground, lift the arms. Look up and lift your heart for a mini back bend. Inhale, bring the hands down to the ground. Exhale, plank pose. Inhale, lift right up into downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Inhale onto the toes. Press the mat away for a little bit of an arch in your back and then ripple up through your spine until you come into plank pose. Send the right hand to the center of the yoga mat. Turn onto the knife edge of your feet. And then stack your feet and lift your left arm. From here, you're going to bend your knees until your right foot comes totally onto the ground. Then intend to straighten as much as you can and lift your left knee in towards your chest. Reach down with your first two fingers of your left hand and grab hold of the big toe, and then slowly begin to spin on the back foot until you come to face the front and set your left foot down onto the mat. Inhale, rise up, high lunge. Exhale, hands to your heart, take a deep breath in. Exhale, come forward. Outside of right elbow is going to hook onto the outside of the left knee. Option to stay here or open your arms. Stay there or take a bind. Stay long and strong in your back leg. When you're ready, gently release. Come back to center. Hands come down. And then use your back body strength to come into standing split. Breathe into the back of the left leg. And then gently step back. Bring the right knee down onto the mat and rise up for low lunge. Lift your heart, look up for a mini back bend. Bring the hands down to the mat and step back for plank pose. Go through your vinyasa and we'll meet in downward dog. On your next inhale, walk your hands back to your feet. Bend your knees a little bit and slide your right hand underneath your right foot with the palm facing up. And slide it so far that your right toes touch the wrist. Do the same thing on the other side. This is gorilla pose. Let your head hang heavy. And then begin to rock forwards and backwards just to give your hands a little massage. Head hangs heavy, arms are heavy, whole body's in a somewhat relaxed position here as you rock back and forth. And then from here, come to stillness, close your eyes and take a deep breath in, following the breath up through the backs of the legs. And then as you exhale, follow the exhale through your back body, letting your upper body feel really heavy as it melts over the legs. One more time. We'll gently release. Bend your knees a little bit more, tuck your tailbone and round all the way up until you come into Tadasana, mountain pose. Once you get there, lift your arms up, look up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Forward fold, and then walk your way out to plank position. And we're gonna bend the knees until they hover just over the mat. So your knees are about a centimeter off the mat. And then come into plank. And bring the knees all the way down, come into child's pose. On your next inhale, rise up, round forward. We're going to come into tripod headstand. So if you're not familiar with tripod headstand, I suggest checking out the link in the description below if you're watching this on YouTube, or in the post if you're watching this on my blog. So just so you can have an overview of it. If you are familiar with it, just find that giant triangle on your mat. Your hands will be at the base on either side, and your head's going to go up at the top of your triangle. Your elbows stay straight back behind you, and your arms are so strong that if somebody came by and tried to push you, they wouldn't go anywhere. From here, curl your toes and walk up, and then press and lift. We're gently going to come out of it by coming into kind of a split and then lowering the bottom leg until we come into an upward facing dog with the toes on the ground. Inhale, downward facing dog. On your next inhale, rise onto your toes, look ahead, bend your knees, and we're gonna just hop, step, or walk to the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Fingers in line with your toes. Bend your knees if you have to. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Arms up overhead. Exhale, hands to your heart. And then rise onto your toes. And super slowly squeeze your legs together and come all the way down to sit on the mat. Try to make this transition slow and even. And once you come all the way down, hug your shins into your body and then tuck your chin in towards your chest. Let your head be really heavy. On your next inhale, ripple up through your spine, look ahead. Extend your right leg. Keep your left foot just as it is. And bring your left hand back behind you in line with your spine. Roll your shoulder so it's not rounded in and the shoulder blades are drawing towards one another, and then lift your right arm. Hook the right elbow to the outside of the left knee, look out over your left shoulder. And as you inhale, come back to center. Extend your left leg, bend your right. Bring the right hand back behind you in line with your spine, roll your shoulder open, lift your right arm and lift your left arm and activate your left foot. Hook the left elbow to the outside of the right knee, look out over your right shoulder. And then exhale, gently release. Extend your right leg. And bring your arms out in front. We're slowly going to come to lie down on the mat. Bring your hands to your stomach and bend your knees. Bring your feet together, your knees together. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, open up the knees, bringing the bottoms of the feet to touch for Supta Baddha Konasana. Close your eyes. Close your mouth if it isn't already, and part your teeth. And with each exhale, feel gravity pull your knees down towards the ground even more. Your body is totally relaxed. It's an effortless pose. And as you continue to breathe, you feel that your eyes are sinking into the skull. Eyelids are heavy. The space between your eyebrows is calm. And we're going to be here for about 5 minutes, just letting the body absorb all the good things you just did. On your next inhale, begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. And then slowly roll over to your right side. Take a deep breath in. And then when you're ready, sit yourself up into a comfortable seated position. Bring your hands to your heart. Close your eyes and just take a second to acknowledge your practice, to feel gratitude for your health. And when you're ready, seal in your practice with Namaste. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. If you like this, please give it a thumbs up down below or leave a comment. Please tell your friends about the practice, and I will see you next week with another yoga video.